Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. This is Miss Norina and it's my pleasure to meet you today. So let's start with our today's lesson, shall we? So today we are moving on the same module, module 7, Out and About part 2. Get ready with you, textbook and workbook. Before we start for today's lesson, let's learn some words for today, shall we? Let's look at your textbook, page 68, Our World. Please read together. The first picture shows, throw rubbish in the rubbish bin. Throw rubbish in the rubbish bin. Mobile phone. Mobile phone. Be quiet. Be quiet. Library. Library. Museum. Museum. Swimming pool. Swimming pool. Don't take photos. Don't take photos. You can also say, do not take photos. And the last one is, don't eat or drink. Do not eat or drink. Now let's proceed. Look at your textbook, page 69. So we are going to listen and read about rules, rules, rules. What is rules? Rules here means peraturan. So now let's look at picture A, B, C, and D. So these are rules in these places. So now let's look what kind of rules apply to these places. Picture A is at the swimming pool. Picture B is in the cinema. Picture C is in the library. And the last one is in the museum. So there are rules for these places. For example, look at picture A. In the swimming pool area, what are the things that you need to do and you cannot do? First, have a shower before swimming. And don't run. It's kind of dangerous for you to run around. Next, in the cinema, don't talk. Turn off your mobile phones. Throw rubbish in the rubbish bin. C. In the library, read quietly. Don't eat or drink. You cannot eat or drink in the library, right? Next, in the museum, don't touch the paintings. Don't take photos. Okay, so these are the rules in these places. Next, we will listen to an audio and look at your textbook. After that, you need to match the rules from number 1 until number 4 to the places A, B, C, and D. Simply write on your textbook.
Activity 1. Listen and read. Then match the rules 1 to 4 to the places A to D. Social Studies.
Rules, rules, rules. Do you follow rules? There are rules wherever we go, at home, in class, and the places we visit. Here are some rules for different places. 1. Don't talk. Turn off your mobile phones. Throw rubbish in the rubbish bin. 2. Read quietly. Don't eat or drink. 3. Have a shower before swimming. Don't run. 4. Don't touch the paintings. Don't take photos.
Now, let's do some listening activity. Let's look at your textbook, page 69. Listen and number from 1 to 5.
Activity 2. Listen and number 1 to 5.
1. Be quiet in the hospital. 2. Turn off your mobile phones in the cinema. 3. Throw rubbish in the rubbish bin. 4. Don't eat in class. 5. Don't take photos in the museum.
Now, let's look at the answers. So here, for A, this sign shows do not eat or drink. Number 4, picture B, throw rubbish into the rubbish bin. Number 3, picture C, what rule is this? Be quiet. The answer is number 1. Picture D, turn off your mobile phones. Number 2, picture E, no photos, don't take photos. Number 5. So this one you just write in your textbook. Just write the answer in the textbook. Please use the pencil. Let's look at the next activity. Textbook, page 69. For this part, you need to copy it. You need to write in your exercise book. Or if you don't have exercise book, you can write on a piece of paper. Write today's day and today's date and write the instruction. After that, copy all this. Try to answer the questions. Fill in the blanks with the correct answer. Please begin the writing with capital letter. Okay? Choose the appropriate answer from the top here and fill in the blanks. And later, I will show you the answer. Please complete it first and pause this minute to allow you to copy and complete it. Now let's look at the answer. Look at activity 2 and write, use don't where necessary. Okay, let's check together, and if you got it correct, just tick. If you got it wrong, correct it. Alright, as simple as that. Let's read together. A, don't eat in class. B, throw rubbish in the rubbish bin. C, be quiet. In the hospital, you cannot make noise in the hospital, right? D, turn off your mobile phones in the cinema. And the last one, don't take photos in the museum. Okay, now I want you to try and read again on your own. Next, let's look at your workbook. Let's do the exercise. Where can you see these rules? Read and tick the places. For example, be quiet. Where do you need to be quiet? This is hospital, this is the library, and this is the playground. So you need to think where it is appropriate for you to be quiet, and later I will show you the answer. Let's check. Let's look at number 1. Be quiet. You need to be quiet in the hospital and the library. Number 2. Don't touch the paintings. This rule applies in the museum. Yes, you got it correct. Number 3. Turn off your mobile phones. This rule applies in the cinema and school. Number 4. Don't eat or drink. This rule applies in the library. Next, don't run. This applies in the museum and at the swimming pool. Yes, you got it right. Okay, now let's look at this. This is very important. You need to watch this lesson carefully. Telling the time. How are you going to tell the time? This is 11:15 and this is 11:45. Both are 11 o'clock. Now, let's look at it. So, from here until here, we use the word past. I repeat, from here until here, we use the word past. And look at this clock. From here to here, we use to. Okay? Now let's focus on this clock. When the big arm pointing at number 3, it means suku. A quarter past. What? Okay, for this, the short arm is pointing at 11, the big arm is pointing at number 3. So this is, it's a quarter past 11. Meaning, it is 11:15. 11 suku. A quarter past 11. Okay? Now, if you look at the clock here, the big arm is pointing at number 9 and the short arm is pointing at in between 11 and 12 to show that it is 11:45. But how are you going to write it in a sentence form? So, like I said, from here to here we use a to. We use to. So, read. It's a quarter to 12. Meaning, lagi 15 minit pukul 12. It means 11:45. Right? Let me repeat myself. It's a quarter to 12. Meaning, lagi 15 minit pukul 12. It means 11:45. Can you see? Now, let's do a little bit of practice. In your workbook, page 55, you need to look, read, and match. Look at the time. Okay, this one you have learned before, but you need to be careful for question number 2 and number 5. Okay, can you try it? Later, I will show you the answer. Now, this is the answer. Look at picture number 1. Look at this clock. The big arm is pointing at number 12 and the small arm is pointing at number 1. It shows 1 o'clock. So the answer is, it's 1 o'clock. Number 2, 11:15. Remember, I told you, suku, 11 suku. So the answer is, it's a quarter past 11. Next, the short arm is pointing at number 11 and the big arm is pointing at number 6. The answer is, it's 11:30. Number 4, 1:30. So the answer is, it's 1:30. Number 5, the long arm is pointing at number 9 and the short arm is pointing at number 12, in between 12 and 1. So the answer is, it's 1:45. Meaning, lagi 15 minit pukul 1. So the time here is 12:45. Right? Now, let's look at another activity. Page 55 of your workbook. Read and draw the time. It's 3 o'clock. So you draw the short arm is pointing at number 3 and the big arm is pointing at number 12. Right? And you can do the rest. Let's look at the answer. It's 3 o'clock. The short arm is pointing at number 3 and the big arm is pointing at number 12. Okay, for number 2, let's read. It's 11:30. Meaning it's 11:30. I think it is better for you to write the time, the digital time like this. So it is easier for you to do revision later. So for answer number 2, it's 11:30, meaning it's 11:30. So the short arm is pointing in between 11 and 12, and the big arm is pointing at number 6, right? Next, number 3, it's a quarter to 8. Lagi 15 minit, pukul 8. Meaning the time is at 7:45. The small arm is pointing in between 7 and 8, and the big arm is pointing at number 9. The last one, number 4. Let's read. It's a quarter past 6. Meaning it's 6:15. The big arm is pointing at number 3, and the small arm is pointing at number 6. Did you get it? Finally, I think that's all for today. Before we end with our today's lesson, let's look at some motivation quote. Here, let's read together. Don't worry. Let's try again. Nobody is perfect first time. Okay, maybe you have some difficulties in learning how to tell the time. So you can always watch again this video and try to look at your book and read as many times as you can, because practice makes perfect. Meaning, to keep repeating doing something over and over so that you can get good at that activity. The other one is to keep practicing to get better at certain skills. For example, you want to learn English and it is very difficult for you to speak. Me too, when I was little, I also faced the same difficulties. So what you can do is, after this lesson, go back to your workbook and your textbook. Whatever you learned today, you read. Try to read in front of your siblings, in front of your brothers or sisters, or maybe you can have your parents to listen to your reading, and you can do the practice. And I am sure you can be good at it. So that's all from me. Don't forget to take some photos of your work and upload to your Google Classroom. See you next time. Goodbye.